Is Andre Drummond loved by the Pistons fan base? I think it's more of a love-hate relationship between the fan base, really. I think there are some of us that appreciate Andre Drummond and everything he did for Detroit, even though he didn't win any championships. He was an all-star. He was an all-NBA team member, led the league in rebounding. He gave us hope when no other player did. He was a lottery pick that actually panned out for a number of years in Detroit. He was not the second coming of Dwight Howard, unfortunately. But there was a lot to love about his time in Detroit. And I think when he retires, most Pistons fans will acknowledge him for what he was and give him his flowers. Unfortunately, not all of us are giving him his flowers right now. But what are your thoughts? What do you think he is? Do you think he's loved by the Pistons fan base?
I feel like it's a mixed reaction. Like, I know I like him, and I appreciated everything he did for Detroit.
Yeah.
But I'm not everybody else on Twitter or even social media. Like, Marquise watching on Facebook says, I love Drummond, but on someone else's team. Like, people like Drummond, but I think the discourse among fans is the ones that didn't like Andre Drummond were the ones that were upset with him making, rap music in the offseason and not being in the gym, which you can have a hobby. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people just wanted to see more from him development-wise. They wanted to see him work on his post game. He still doesn't really have a post game. Like, he's a good rim runner. He's good at blocking shots. He's good at rebounding. But, like, he never really focused in on his post game. Like, Greg Monroe had a deeper bag in the post than Andre Drummond did.
Love Greg Monroe.
Yeah, shout out to Greg Monroe. He just grew up in the wrong era. He'd be a beast in the 90s.
Early 2000s too. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I know he was there towards more of the 2010s, but man, you draft him in like 1999. Oh my God, dude. He was Al Jefferson.
Yeah. But we drafted him. We gave him a max contract, and, we watched him make the playoffs twice here. Even though we got swept both times, I think most of the fan base appreciates, and, they love Drummond. Now, they don't work out. They win a championship? No. But you like those kind of stories of, keeping a guy, drafting a guy, and I think we all got fooled by the summer videos.
God, he was just draining threes, man. It was unreal. I think it was. When did you notice he wasn't like going to lead us to the championship? Like, what year was it for you? Because let's all be honest. Early on, and everybody was right. He did not beat Kemba Walker in races. Let me just make that. It's been on my mind all week. It was Shabazz Napier. That's who I was thinking of. My apologies. But what year for you were you like, okay, Andre Drummond's not it? Andre Drummond's not the franchise player, I should say.
When Van Gundy tried to make him into prime Dwight Howard.
Was that his third year or his fourth year?
I don't even remember. See, I want to, because the question you asked, I kind of feel like it's unfair.
Yeah.
Because I thought Andre Drummond, as a player, was a good player. Guy could set screens like no other. He was a good rim runner. He had, like, when he was locked in, he could shut down anybody. He could move his feet very well. I mean, there are highlights of him, stealing the ball from Dwayne Wade in his rookie year. Like, when he was locked in, and when he was coached by like Rasheed Wallace while he was here for a very short time, he was very engaged and very active defensively. I think my biggest issue with the whole Drummond era was trying to make him into something he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't a Dwight Howard, and that's okay. He was closer to a Clint Capella than he was a Dwight Howard. And Clint Capella is a very good player, and he's still, cashing big checks in the NBA. I feel like if the Pistons just focused in on what he was good at and then trying to force him in something that he wasn't great at, which was, working in the post and working on his post moves and free throws, it just play to his strengths. Just use him as a rim runner. Use him as someone to grab rebounds. Use him as, someone to block shots. Like, and they just didn't do that. And I think that's the reason why the Drummond era failed the way they did. And we just gave out really bad contracts. Like, I think his tenure here wasn't on him. It was more on the organization, not getting him a real point guard to play with. And that's no shot at Reggie Jackson or Brandon Jennings. They were great players, but like he needed an elite guard. He needed a top 10 point guard to play with. And I think his career would have shaped out a lot differently.
Yeah, I want to say for me, the year where I was just like, okay, Andre Drummond is not Dwight Howard. This is his fifth year. That was Stan Van Gundy's third year as the coach, I believe. And if I could be wrong, but that's the year they went 37-45. He averaged a cool 14-14, almost 2 steals, almost 2 blocks. That was the year though where I'm like, it's just never going to happen for him. He's never going to be that guy. But, and I'm with you too. If they had gotten him a quality point guard, again, no offense to Reggie Jackson, I was stoked when the Pistons traded for him. I thought he was going to average 18 and 9 in Detroit. That's how crazy I was about Reggie Jackson. Because I think he did something like that in Oklahoma City when he was playing in spot of an injured Russell Westbrook at that moment. He put up some ridiculous numbers. And I'm like, man, if you could get him on a starting team, give him his own team, he'll be just a freaking all-star. But it would be Andre Drummond's 5th year for me where I'm like, yeah, man, he's more of like a superstar role player than he is a franchise player. But I don't know. I still love Andre Drummond, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. Just watching those Cade videos, him setting screens for Cade, like I was like, man, imagine if Cade Cunningham was on the same team as Andre Drummond, like when he was younger. Like that pick and roll would be lethal. And that was my point. Like he never really got an elite point guard to play with. Like Brandon Jennings had a run before he tore his Achilles against the Bucks where he was putting up great numbers, and him and Drummond and everyone else were going crazy. When we traded for Reggie Jackson and he was putting up 18 points and 9 assists, and John Wall was bitching about their contracts, basically. They were playing good basketball, but I don't hate Drummond. I hate how the Pistons handled and how they managed the team while he was here. But other than that, I mean, he showed out.
Yeah, he did. He did. I forgot Reggie Jackson. I'm looking at the numbers right now. He did average 19 and 6. His first full season in Detroit when he played 79 games. God, that is crazy to think about. Man.
Yeah,
that's when they went 44 and 38. That was crazy.
Yeah, first 28 games, Reggie averaged 18 and 9.
That's where I'm getting that from, 18 and 9. He did do it. That's right. I remember thinking he was going to be a multiple-time All-Star in Detroit after that. And then his second year, 18 and 6. That was still pretty good, very respectable. Man, I miss Brandon Jennings, though, too. But, man, damn. Yeah, you're right. Detroit failed him big time.